Welcome in. It is day 114, and you are speaking with the Meeples Champion. And as we enter into November, we are officially done with doing our specifically scary month of October, and we're back to just being able to review whatever games we want to review. So today, we're going to lead that off with a roll and write, or some might call it a roar and write. That game is Dinosaur Island Roar and Write. So, for those of you who have at all looked into any of these more recent dinosaur games, they've really been making this push of essentially making Jurassic Park. Now, I do believe there's a few actual Jurassic Park themed ones, and I haven't heard anything bad about them. But for me, they just haven't grabbed me. But there were quite a few dinosaur ones that were not officially Jurassic Park that really grabbed my attention. And as a person who wants that ability to grab a quick, fast-played game that isn't going to have to have a huge setup, that isn't going to take for more like an hour and a half, 2 hours minimum, that's going to be a game I could pull out and play with my wife or with a friend or at a family party or wherever it may be and be easy, this was a game that really grabbed my attention. So I picked it up. To be fair, I picked it up, I believe it was a Christmas gift request a year ago, and I just played it recently for the first time, and it was great. The essential idea is that you have these dice with all these different possibilities. Depending on number of players, you essentially double your player and then add one. So my wife and I playing, we end up putting in 5 dice. You pull the dice from the bag, because every die is a little different on what's offered. There's 10 dice total. You roll them out, and then you go through and you have to pick. Now, you do these pick as a snake draft. So I pick a die, she picks 2, I pick 1. You're going to get what's on the die, but whatever the last die is left, everybody in the game is going to get it, as well as there are these little pips on the dice. So it tends to be that the things with more pips tend to be things that are not as good. So you don't want to take it, except the pips represent attacks from the dinosaurs. So whenever you get those pips, you have to now go in, you have to circle saying, okay, we've had dinosaur attacks. And that's where your whole buildup of the game comes in, because the idea is that, well, you're trying to make pens, you're trying to make more dinosaurs, you're trying to make food and merch stands and all these things, but you also have to make security. And as more dinosaur attacks come, you have to make sure your security can handle them. If you have more dinosaur attacks than security, then it hits you for negatives. And that gets worse and worse as the game goes on. You have 3 rounds in total, and because this is supposed to be a shorter game, you essentially start the game off with 2 different lines of 3 things you can buy. There's like the things to be added to the park, and then there's the kinds of things that are more like, there's the attractions, stuff like that, and there's the people that are helping with the park. But you only have the 3 and the 3. They don't alternate out, and if I get it, the other person can still get it. The idea is that as you slowly are making decisions on how to spend out the different types of resources you've gathered, whether that be the money or that be the different types of DNA to make the dinosaurs, whatever it is, as you spend it and you choose things, you could earn one of these people. But your opponent can also earn that person. Everything's equal. There's nothing that I can do that you can't do. And when the game comes to its conclusion, not only do you have the decision of how you allocated all of your different types of resources, seeing how you may have spent them differently than they spent them, you also have how you place them out on the map, as it's important of placing a building, make sure you then connect it with a hall, place it to another building, get it so that you can connect these through, so that when you have the end of your round come, you can connect out to exits, and you try to see if you can get extra points that way, you can earn extra bunch of different types of victory points and payouts this way. Well, this is just the basic explanation. There's a lot more to it, but why don't we jump in and judge this on our 7 categories. The art on this game is really nice. I think that the box sells just the feel of the theme. I love that they use the word roar and write right on the front there, because it's a roll and write, but it's a roar and write. I love that, and I feel like the dice, the cards, there isn't much of a board. I mean, you have your actual pads of paper that you're writing on. You have 2 different pages each. And then you have your little board in the middle, the cards go around, but really there isn't a board. It's just, you have your pad of paper for your actual writing part. You have your dice for your rolling part. You have your cards for a little bit of variation. But I think it all does a great job. It's a thumbs up on that art. The components of this game, as I just named them, you have your pad of paper. I mean, you're not looking for much better than this. They give you plenty to use. You're going to get to play at least 100 games. It's double-sided, so really 200 games. And then you've got your dice, which are top quality. I really like the dice in this game. And then you have your cards, which are well-made, good stock. And this isn't like most games where you're shuffling, and those cards are getting worn. You're just putting out 3 cards. You don't even pick them up during the game. They're just there for reference. So those cards are going to last a long time, even if they weren't great quality, and they are pretty good quality. So thumbs up on the components. The price of this game is that this is easy to get to. You're going to find it in probably 2 to 3 stores out of 5. You will see this occasionally at a Barnes & Noble. I don't know if you're going to find it as a Target very often, but your pricing is like $30 max. It's a cheap game. It's not hard to get, and it's not expensive, so thumbs up. There is not much difficulty here. Now, when it comes to being that level, the 10-year-old, I think, can play this game. I think that rolling the dice, picking your resources, yeah, you might get a little lost on the drawing of the map, but I think a lot of 10-year-olds are going to love that. Just not everybody will. I know that's not one of my favorite things, but I enjoyed it in this game. I think that the picking of the cards, how to allocate your resources, all that's fine for a 10-year-old, as well as a beginner. So the young kids and the beginners are fine. For your experienced and experts, to me, it's all up to, do they like roll and writes or not? If you're a roll and write fan, everybody's in. If you're not, then you're not. But this isn't going to be a game where you go, I love roll and writes, but I won't play it because I'm an expert and that's below me. This game is not like that. Everybody can play it. Thumbs up. The game doesn't take too long, so there is the possibility of a replayability actually hitting multiple times in the same day. It's also one of those games that easily could just be, hey, it's end of the day, we pull it out once every week or two and we play it for a quick 30 minutes. I think once you played a couple times, you can fly through this game. And as far as how often you play during the year, even though I enjoy this game, I didn't put it in the October month because to me, even though it kind of fits it, I didn't feel that it had to be there. I felt this game is very wide open for its opportunity to be played any time of the year. And I think that it's the kind of game that it's just up to, really, at the end of the day, your rolling and writing interest. For me, this tends to be the type of game that I'll play more one-on-one, but a lot of people like to play these games in the full max at 4 or 5, whatever it may be for player count. I think this goes 2 to 4, at 1 to 4, actually, you can play against the game. So this is the kind of game that a lot of people will pull out during family time. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, when people get together, that's the kind of game you pull out. If you're doing like a summer trip, you might bring it on the trip. Compared to me, where I'll play this more in the 2-player fashion with my wife. So, thumbs up. Keys to victory, as I said, everybody has the same exact options. You could technically end the game identical, but the difference is that this game allows you that opportunity of where do you want to invest? Do you want to make more dinosaurs, more rides? Do you want to try to work more on your park design? Are you trying to make sure you have the security? Do you want more dinosaurs? There's lots of options. None of them are better or worse than the others, I don't see. It's really up to just how your games so happen to come together. So, thumbs up. Is this unique? There's a lot of roll and writes. There's a lot of drawing roll and writes. A lot of those are more train-based. For me, the theme is a little unique on this. I haven't seen another dinosaur roll and write. But on top of that, the double sheets are what's really cool to me. The idea that you're not just writing it out like in those train roll and writes, you're also doing this concept of allocating your points, your money, your everything to try and figure out how to create your park. I think it's a very unique game. I'm giving it a thumbs up. So overall, what do I think? I think if you're into roll and writes, you need to buy this and add it to your collection. And I think if you're not into them, see if you can play it, because you might just find out that the theme of this is so strong for you that it's worth getting a roll and write, even though you normally don't get them. So give it a try, see if it's worth your time, and go from there. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you to get out there, find your own opinions on this game and other games, and see where you land. Well, It has been day 114, and we've been talking about the game Dinosaur Island, roaring right. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.